2016. So here we go, the final 10 in the first of the two individual competitions here in Planica, the penultimate individual competition of the season. Freitag, second in the ski flying, or I should say World Cup rankings. Over 230. And this has been the story for much of the season since those early victories before the Christmas holidays and the New Year. And Richard Freitag, always there or thereabouts. You might remember that he was looking in good shape during the Four Hills, had that really unfortunate tumble in Innsbruck, bruised his hip, missed the rest of the Four Hills, came back and performed pretty consistently, has had a smile on his face for pretty well the whole of the season, and should be pleased with his season's work overall. But really, he's played second fiddle for most of this year, or the remaining part of the season, to Kamila Stocha. Freitag leads though, and Kubacki challenges. David Kubacki with a advantage of almost a meter, but 220 can't compete with 232. Freitag leads, Sternen is second, and Semenic is third, and now Kranec for Slovenia off the podium into fourth place, and Yuri Tepes into fifth. So a number of season's bests here in prospect, certainly for Robert Kranec, and that's very pleasing. David Kubacki squeezes onto the podium for now, and in fact goes third equal. 14.4 points the deficit for Semenic and Kubacki, and Peter Preutz. Preutz back to Kubacki is very tight, only 0.2 of a point. Big opportunity here for Peter, but barely over 213, 240, maybe 215 actually. 215 it is. And Peter Preutz, hardly a breath of wind. There's a whisker of front wind deduction, but he'll be pretty disappointed with this. He had the opportunity to go a lot further. And also on the landing there, you could see that he was favoring the left-hand side. The balance wasn't even. So Freitag, Sternen, Semenic. Kevin Bickner at the moment in 10th place, looking good for a lifetime's best. Kev's previous best came last year in Vickersham when he was in 15th place. Well, there's quite a few to come, 7, so he might make it, he might not, rather depends on what everybody else does. Bickner though with 230.5 meters, so a couple of people, maybe 3 of them, have got to fail to enable Kevin Bickner to claim a new PB. Now this is Fanamel, 230.5, capable of so much more. You can see his physical stature. He's one of the smaller, compact guys, good power to weight ratio. And Borek, I think he's more in command today, and rightly so. Wind a little bit all over the place. There's the graph. You might not be able to see the arrows too clearly. Front wind on the landing side of the knoll, actually over the knoll. Back wind a little bit further down the hill. But possibilities. He's got to do this well, carry speed over the knoll. Asked and answered. And Fanamel produces a better flight. Not humongously so, but 3 meters better than the first flight, or 2.5 to be precise, but overall, not too bad. Can't quite understand the 17 out of a possible 20 from the Finnish judge in box E. That is out of kilter with everybody else. Fortunately, the highest and lowest being deducted means that anomaly's being taken away. But I have to say, that was interesting. If you watch the replay, you'll have seen the 2 feet coming down, then the slide forward. Maybe the Finnish judge, maybe, you know, 1 out of 5 was better than the other 4. On that occasion, I'm going to give the Finnish judge very much the benefit of the doubt. So Fanamel goes into the lead. And now Noriaki Kasai. Well, is he in striking distance of the podium? 30 points, that's the deficit, and Tomoharu has given us a little opportunity here with Noriaki to consider it a bit further. You can see the wind blustering up there. You can see the tower there in which Borek is located. He's in part of the old traditional buildings. Might have seen Frank Salvi there on the coach's stand in the yellow jacket. He's the assistant TD working with the technical delegate. That's Bertil Palsrud of Norway. And there were certain signs that Bertil last night from Norway was none too happy either with the way that the qualification round unfolded yesterday. And Kasai, in his 46th year, 17 times a winner. Don't think he's going to add to that. 13 times a runner-up. 33 times third placed. And if he's got a shout today of the podium, I think it's probably more likely to be third place that he's aiming at. He's 13 points down on Kamila Stocha. Take that out of the equation. He's actually, 8 points down on Forfang in third place. So this does need to be a little special. He's got backwind, which isn't much use to him, really. There's your current leader, Fanamel from Lillehammer. Well, it's more like 2:15, a metre less. I think it was a little bit of wishful thinking. So many of you are fans of Noriaki Kasai for what he's done for the sport, for himself, for Japanese ski jumping over the years. And of course, a good result here. He says he's got no intention of retiring. But everybody needs a good result from time to time, particularly when you come to the end of the campaign. A little boost to send you off into the holiday that you need to recharge the batteries, and then into spring training. And of course, at his age, his training program is utterly unique in the way that he has to use his energy. So So Kasai down to 10th place, which is pretty well par for him this season. And now Junshiro Kobayashi. His task a little easier than Kasai's, 11 points behind Stoch. And clears 220. Of course, he's challenging Fanamel for the lead. And Junshiro's advantage over Fanamel, well, less than 3 meters. So again, even with what I think will be fair style marks, all his style marks, all 10 of them from the judges in the first and the second flights, have been 18 or better. And I think that's a fair judgment of what has been a slightly improved performance today. And third place, and Joshiro into third place. Sternen down to fourth, Stefan Kraft. Well, this needs to be approaching the hill record, but it isn't 240. But you can see he's reasonably satisfied with what he's doing. 2 efforts, well over 230 meters. Style-wise, this is much better. Lovely shape in the air, but he leaves his transition quite late. Little bit of backwind compensation, almost 2 meters worth, and this will squeeze him up here. Just having a look at this. Good enough for the lead? Should be, and is all 19s from the judges. So Stefan Kraft into the current leaders circuit. Fanamel second, Richard Freitag third, and now just 3 to go. 2 for Norway, 1 for Poland. Johan Andre Forfang, successful in Villingen in Germany before the Olympic Games, before his individual silver and his team gold. And Forfang, well, for the first time, not quite up to 240. He's pretty well on the money with Kraft, but you've got to take into account that he only had a points advantage. Now, Kraft had 5 marks of 19 or better, and Kraft had 2.1 points of backwind compensation. The big difference here is the backwind compensation for Forfang. 10 points, 8 points more. That is going to secure first place and guarantee a podium place for Johan Andre Forfang and consolidate his position in the Planica accumulator. So Forfang twice a winner, 4 times a runner-up, 6 times third. Where's he going to be? Now challenged by his own teammate. This is going to be interesting. Johansson not tip-top in the first flight, particularly the landing. Really lost control. But Johansson improved in that regard. Sorry, Forfang improved. Johansson must also. Only 0.5 of a point. The advantage over his teammates. He hasn't got the distance this time, and he hasn't got the star points. The star points are going to be better because that was a much better touchdown, but he's 6 meters short at least of Forfang, and he didn't have that advantage. Now the worry is he going to stay on the podium, because he's got his teammate Fanamel in third place, and Johansson's advantage over Fanamel, something like 10 points. So having a look at that, he's definitely going to be on the podium, but not first. Third, and Kraft stays second, and that means that Kraft is on the podium. Whatever happens, Johansson is the man who could be denied, because Stefan Kraft now is about to take his turn, bidding for a 30th career win. Just more consolidation on a season of ski jumping and ski flying, which in huge measure belongs to him. And Kamila Stocha surely is there. 2:34, but he had an advantage over Stefan Kraft of 6 points. So he's got another 4 meters or so there. And not only that, he's got more backwind compensation, and every one of his star marks are over 19. And so, not for the first time, Stefan Horngacher, the Polish coaching team, and Kamila Stocha have come out on tops. So since his return from the Olympic Games, Stoch's performances look like this. The winner in Lahti, 6th in Oslo. The winner in Lillehammer, the winner in Trondheim. Only 6 in Vikersund, but here victorious. Another 100 World Cup points to Kamila Stocha, who, victory by victory, is cementing his performances in the history of ski flying. And there, well, that was the presentation we were waiting for as well. Might have been with the victory, but happy birthday to Robert Johansson. 28 years of age today, and so something to celebrate anyway. But the stars of the show remain Kamila Stocha, Forfang second place, Stefan Kraft on the podium yet again, and Robert Johansson finishing ahead of teammate Anders Fannemel. So once again, 3 Norwegians in the top 5. And that bodes well for tomorrow's ski flying team event here.